Morning, everybody. I'm Ken. I'm the youngest son. It's kind of funny how sometimes it almost seems like a cliche that for a lot of people, you never truly appreciate your relationship with somebody until you start to lose them. I think there's more than a kernel of truth to that in my case. Not that I ever had a troubled relationship with my mom, except maybe when I was a goth punk teenager, I suppose. I definitely don't think that area would go in our greatest hits reel. Our relationship was well and good, considering how opposite our lifestyles turned out to be, with her being a bright and sunny, spiritually minded choir singer, and me being a gay man who goes to every concert and rave I can in my mid-50s. She put a lot of work in to maintain our relationship. She'd drive up to LA every few weeks so we could have lunch or see a movie. One time I did, in fact, take her to a park party, and we actually danced together to house music DJs for the one and only time in our lives. I'll never forget introducing her to my rave buddies that day and them saying, "Hi, Mom," as if they were her kids too. We had a really nice relationship. And then 4 years ago, I got the call that she was showing signs of Alzheimer's. Dave and Jerry, you were there when I got that call. I don't have to tell you that a phone call like that can be a lot. I think I kind of panicked a little bit. With me being the closest relative to her in proximity, I knew life was about to change. She was going to need a lot of help. But was I qualified enough to handle something like this? I didn't know anything about dementia or Alzheimer's. I was just a knucklehead in my mid-50s whose greatest worry up to that point was not being able to score tickets to the big concert. But then all the family all mobilized, and we all started to formulate a plan, and it was decided that I was going to start driving down to Orange County to take her on errands and doctor's appointments, since we thought it would be best if she stopped driving. I remember Dave telling to her, "You're going to get sick of us." And so it began with me driving down on an almost daily basis, with Dave coming along on most days. We'd go shopping. We took her dog Lily to the groomers, and I took her around town to handle all her errands. I would definitely say in those few months, leading all the way up to placing her in assisted living, we spent more time together then than when I was a kid. I don't know that I really understood it at the time, but part of me knew that the clock was really ticking before she would really start to slip away. So I made it a point to try to understand her needs and where she was at mentally. I learned that her favorite foods were Costco hot dogs and grilled cheese sandwiches with Swiss cheese and bacon from the corner bakery. Together we discovered crumble cookies, which are her favorite, my favorite too. Those would be a great reward we indulged in after a long day. Most of the time I tried to make her feel like somebody was really listening to her, because I can't imagine a scarier thing than beginning to feel like you're losing yourself. It was a scary thing to witness, and as the weeks went on, she would get more and more confused. But all the while, she maintained her bright spirit. She'd start to forget who I was to her, and that was hard. But through it all, we had a lot of laughter. There was one time when I asked her, "Where do you want to go next, Mom?" And she replied, "Oh, please don't call me that." And I said, "Well, what else do I call you? You're my mother." And then she said, "Well, we need to have a talk about that." And I'm thinking, oh my God, am I adopted? In the face of all the confusion and chaos that she was going through, she experienced courage and spirit, the likes of which I haven't seen in any human being before or since. The most important thing during that time to me was that she didn't feel like she was going through all of it alone, and I like to think that I helped. So while my rebellious teenage years may not have been us at our best, I consider those last few months we spent together to be our finest hour. I'm forever grateful I got that last chance to experience that with her. I want to thank you, Mom, for teaching me how to be a better person and showing me that I still have many lessons to learn in this life. The night that Mom passed was the one fortunate thing that happened was that Wes and Kirsten were in town, and we all got to see her in her final hours together. At the very end, after it happened, I turned to Kirsten and I said, "Well, we're alone now." But that isn't really true, and it never has been. We've been there for each other all this time, and we are now stronger than ever. If the world was coming to an end, we'd be in the group text, making each other laugh senselessly. Thank you, Mom, for creating this family. And this video that I'm about to play is for you, and it's also for Wes and Kirsten. We love you.
It was not that long ago it first occurred to me that my mother was a person in her own right. And now I realize how very lucky I have been, and there but for the grace of God go I. Mother dear, she can see inside. Mother dear, and I've nowhere to hide. Mother dear, did I spoil your plans? Mother dear, I do the best I can. When I was a teenager, I really did believe that my parents had adopted me. And the way I carried on, they must have thought they'd brought the wrong little baby home from maternity. Well, I'd like to say I'm sorry, but my mother dear, she already knows. Mother dear, she'll never let me go. Mother dear, kept me warm and safe. Mother dear, I'll never lose my faith in Mother dear. If I ever get arrested by the CIA because they take me for a foreign spy, they won't need no lie detector. All they'll have to do is make me look into my mother's eyes, and I'll tell them anything they like. Oh, Mother dear, she can see inside. Mother dear, I've nowhere to hide. From Mother dear, kept me warm and safe. Mother dear, I'll never lose my faith in Mother dear. Mother dear, Mother dear. Mother dear, did I spoil your plans? Mother dear, I do the best I can.